having to worry about Vantage. Unfortunately, things were very strange there. Strange enough that we didn't get the Robin Lissa C. Now, we're looking for a few things here. We're looking for the Robin Crom C, which is almost guaranteed. And that's because we want the extra dual strike chance. On top of that, I guess, it also makes it easier to get the plus 10 dodge for Robin, because you're not really guaranteed to have great luck at this point, and 10's okay, but you want closer to 15 and then a B support. Then at that point you don't have to worry about enemy crit too much anymore, but getting there, a little bit tougher. So, this also works the other way around, in that Fred's luck kinda doesn't do too well for him. I suppose here it's kind of irrelevant because we just picked up Solidarity, so now Fred will be picking up plus 20 dodge for standing beside Robin with a pair partner behind him. But I mean, more dodge never hurts at this point in the game. The Robin Lissa C is another one we want for the 10 dodge. The problem that requires that, and now we're going to have to do backup strats, is there's a point in the later chapter 2 where Robin needs to be fighting the boss who has Gamble, and she's not going to have Crom, so she's not necessarily going to have enough luck on her own. So this is why, because Lissa's going to be there healing her anyway, the Lissa C usually provides enough dodge. For those who were around in my earlier stages, excuse me, the route didn't really care about having the Lissa C, and I was crit more than once by the boss's Gamble. So that's kind of been incorporated into the route, just because that started becoming a problem, and I didn't really want to deal with getting crit more on chapter 2. So this is why it's kind of unfortunate. Fred Virion, it helps him get to the 10 dodge easier, which is nice in a lot of places. Probably the bigger deal is because Fred is more or less the primary tank at this point. Virion is an easy C. So you don't always want Virion hiding behind Fred, because sometimes you're gonna want to have his bow. But probably starting from chapter 4 through 6, basically, that extra defense and extra strength can potentially make the difference. And a little bit of extra skill never really hurt anyone. So yeah, I'll just say one more time. This is one of those chapters where things are a little bit liable to going a little wonky, especially since we're gonna have to do the backup dodge strat for Robin. Alright, good night, Cat. Thanks for watching. What are we talking about here? Lissa getting left behind. Yeah, well, Lissa's pretty important. She basically gets benched from chapter, well, I guess Paralog 4 onward. I mean, she's essential to LaRon, but there's a point where she's just kind of she's done her part and she's done with the game. Obviously, very early on, she's the only source of healing. You just without an inordinate amount of luck, you're not going to make it through the early game without Lissa. You lose her and it's basically over. Other key things, Chapter 5, if you want to save Bricken and Maribel at all, you need Lissa. Because she's the only one who can use a rescue staff. Chapter 6, she's using the rescue staff again to allow Maribel to heal Robin and then get pulled out of enemy range. Sometimes weird other things happen, like M's door gets opened and then I end up dragging M halfway across the level. There's also Paralog 3, where she provides healing, particularly even if we don't end up saving the villagers, because sometimes it's too risky too. It depends on Robin's current magic level and how much counter there is. But basically, Lissa can heal one of the villagers to sandbag the level, and then just heal Robin and Fred to keep them alive. If we do end up being able to save one of the villagers, she rescues one of them. So basically, she's worth a Seraph robe there. And then Chapter 9, you're not going to be getting Libra without a rescue from Lissa. And she needs to be at least 10 magic there, which is why I put emphasis on Lissa should be gaining magic. She needs to be getting magic. However, once Libra comes into the picture, Lissa is basically done. Alright, so let's start this chapter 2. Remember how I said that there's not really anything you can just keep doing over and over? Or no one thing you can do over and over. Chapter 2 is kind of the first taste of there are multiple openings. So in this case, the very first really reliable strat, and even then it had some holes in it because attacking up onto a mountain is a bit iffy. But Interceptor came up with a strat that basically was able to just be done turn by turn, regardless of what Luna Plus skills the enemy had. It unfortunately has a few moments where things get missed or strikes go wrong. But it's largely safe enough that I'll do it if say this barbarian here has gamble. And sometimes if the incoming set of enemies has an excessive amount of Luna Plus, because even though really the positions aren't super great against Luna Plus, the one thing they're really good for is that they're consistent in how they lure the enemy. So it allows for easier divide and conquer when it comes to the Luna Plus enemies, even though tanking them. The strategy is actually a little more resource intensive than I would like, especially when it comes to the elixir. One other thing to watch out for that makes the Interceptor strat not so good is this mercenary having patience. The woods already adds 10 of void, it makes things a little iffy, but the modified Interceptor strat basically has Varen go into Robin, Robin attacks from here. Well, Varen is only going to have a 75 less than hit on him. And then Fred needs to attack unassisted on this guy, so if he has patience, there's a lot that can go wrong with the attack on him. And if he doesn't die, well, you're basically done. I don't know, was that? Let's see. No, there's 2, 3, 4. There's definitely four Luna Plus enemies for this first wave. And this entire half of the map is gonna rush. So, basically, I guess I'll outline the Interceptor strat in case anyone needs to use it. The way I do it, since it normally assumes this guy has Gamble, is Varian to Robin. Robin goes here, Varian attacks. Fred finishes him off. Sully goes here. And you want to make sure your weapons attack, so she'll fight this guy. And then Vake pairs on to Stall, who attacks here. And since Fred's here, Sully's here, and Stall has Vake, that's plus 10 dodge, so this guy can't crit Stall. Then what I do is I move Lissa here. And what that does is, if, and only if Lissa has a C, which she doesn't here, Crom then goes here and takes Robin, which means... Actually, no, wait, we don't need the Lissa C. We just need a Crom C. So Crom goes here and takes Robin. Now that means Robin can attack with Thunder here. Generally speaking, having the C with Crom means she's gonna double. And the iffy perk comes with this. You need to hit 2 Thunders and get Crom Dual Strike, or get a crit, or get a Crom Dual Strike crit. So there's actually a somewhat reasonable chance of killing him, it's just far from assured. And what positioning Lissa here does is it helps push Robin up to 5 support points between everyone. And what happens is one support point is 10 hit, 2 support points is 10 avoid, 3 is 10 dodge, and 4 is 10 crit. All of this is cumulative. The 5th point, it goes back around to hit, and it adds another 5 hit. And that 5 hit can make or break the attack here. Especially since, under normal circumstances, you need, like barring scoring lucky crits, you need to make sure that you hit both thunder attacks. However, the strategy I'm going to use here is what I kind of call the standard strat, because it's fairly consistent. Sometimes this Mountain Barb is a jerk and runs off and does random other crap. But for the most part, this opening is fairly clean. The turns that follow can be a bit iffy because these guys start kind of running all over the place. Generally speaking, the enemy is really manipulated to an extent, but it can get iffy, and you'll probably see why as I execute this. So we pair Fred to Sully because that gives 8 movement, and nothing has 8 movement at this point by itself. Fred only has 7 as a Great Knight. But this allows them to go over here and swap. It allows Fred to weaken 2 of the enemies. and safely at that. Well, generally safely. Because we're not toting around extra supports. If you notice, this guy has 7 crit, Fred only has 6 luck. The mercenary is probably not going to kill Fred if he crits, but if he has win up plus and he crits, then Fred's probably going to die. In normal circumstances, probably not. So yeah, Fred's normally fairly safe. Not guaranteed, but a lot of stuff isn't entirely guaranteed here. So Robin wants to hop on stall. Now, I guess one caveat I should add to the Interceptor strat, the modified one where I'm assuming I'm fighting Gamble, that covers stall facing Gamble, but in the rare case that you get Robin to level 10, which, if you remember in Chapter 1 I said, usually you're going to be around 20 or so experience short. If you're only level 9 here, the Interceptor strat is kind of the safest way to address that gamble. If you have level 10 in Solidarity, you can hop on Sol and not really give a crap if this guy has gamble. So you want to go all the way to the left. And if you got Solidarity, this guy will come down, try to fight stall, and generally fail. We might run into AI manipulation problems here, because Robin's gotten too much defense. Yeah, I know. I say I want a Robin with as much durability as possible, and then I say she's gotten too much defense. The reason for that is Stall's now getting +1 defense, and this can cause the AI manipulation to fail a little more readily. Because normally he's a fairly easy mountain barb bang now. Like 95% of the time the barb's gonna run after him if he has 8 deef. In this case, with 9 deef, there's a higher chance of the barb either targeting Fred, or more likely, it's gonna be Crom, who we pair to Lissa move here. You want to switch and separate to place Lissa left, which keeps her safe. If this barb has Will Plus, in order to survive, Crom needs to have the rapier equipped and bake on him, which gives him 9 defense. Well, 10 after the woods. Place 9, which goes down to 5, and then the woods adds 1, so it's 6. Which is just enough to survive, because this guy, facing weapon triangle disadvantage, he's gonna drop down to 25, which leaves Crom with 1 hit point. In this particular case, Crom would be fine no matter what, but we still put Vake on him because 1, positioning, 2, if Crom has more defense, this guy's more likely to run off and fight stall. And here, again, we're using bait tactics. We have Virion go down here. All these guys, especially the mercenaries with 13 speed and 23 attack, they look at him and they see a meal. So they're gonna chase after him. Alright, so we're seeing the NMP phase as more or less expected. Muriel pops up, and her showing up is basically Virion's escape route. Because Crom's kind of busy. He wants to go over here and take Robin. And swap over so that together they can kill this guy. And Robin... Wow, yeah, we went from having low magic in prologue to actually kind of overkill. Because this strategy assumes we're doing around 10 or 11 damage with Robin, so we're kind of hoping for a dual strike, although it's possible for Vake or Stall to clean up if it is a problem. Generally speaking, we really don't want that, and in this case, we're fairly safe, since Robin doesn't even need Crom to win around. I mean, I guess we do need the 15 speed, but as far as magic goes, we're fine. So next we have Furia and hop onto Miriam. And Miro goes over here. And we switch to Viram. And Viram's going to continue to kind of play bait, do his own thing. We transfer Muriel to Lissa. Now, Fred, if these guys both have Luna Plus, Fred would probably need to vulnerate himself. In this case, he really doesn't. Because he can swing around down here. He wants to try to kill those two guys because it makes things safer for everyone. Sometimes it doesn't happen because, so you see this guy has pass. Allows him to attack from the mountain twice. And Fred still has 81 hit, but well, as I've said before, 81 is not a perfect hit, so misses do happen. And they're extremely irritating when they do. So yeah, we go down here. We bring this up. Now, this is kind of the important reason for Muriel to be here. I mean, aside from providing a bunch of extra healing points for Lissa. So that's important. So we give Vake the fire and his iron axe. Swap back, heal Fred. Now what we can do here is we go take Stallball, Lissa, and swap so we can trade the fire to Robin. And that's kind of important because we actually want to save excuse me. We want to save a few uses of the thunder if we can. And this is kind of crucial to being able to do that. So we do that. And then separate Stall down here. Let's see. Why are these guys limits on me? Well, at least Fred's cooperating. Because if that soldier survives on the mountain, things can get very, very bad very quickly. Alright, so this is another one of those cases of improvisation. What do we have here? Two guys that pass. Is that going to be... Oh, those guys both have pass. Yeah, I might have actually made a bad judgment call in here. Even with the accounting for patience, I might have wanted to do that. Do Scepter Strat, because aside from excessive Luna Plus, sometimes excessive pass you want to deal with them by having a more predictable movement manipulation.